Trade marker. Hey guys, new video here. Cock ISO. I'm gonna show you a map real quick. This is the map tier 14. We got Awakener 8 bonuses here. Now, I'm not going to go over everything in this video because there's a lot of cock videos out there, and the basics are the same. Your attack, your cyclone, triggers the spells, right? So every time I crit with my attack, I trigger spells. I'm zooming around, my ice nodes are going off. I've invested a lot in AoE in this build because I feel that AoE, since I focus more on the garden and not so much on the map juicing, I want the lesser monsters to be made up for by my bigger AoE chains, right? And that's and usually it's just my Herald of Ice, and my Fizz Explode is also AoE, and so is my Ice Nova. So I'm gonna run around, and all you're doing is you're dashing around. This is a Beyond map, so it's a little bit different, and I'll talk about the life-based versions and the cheaper version, like crafting the gear and everything. This is pretty nuts, huh? So yeah, this is actually like not usually how this is. Okay, this is like a superlative map, I'll say. Okay. And let me just clear all this. As you can see, you're running around. The cool stuff about this build is, I guess it's ailment immune, it's stun immune, and it's just like ES based, so that things that are annoying, like let's say you're trying to plant things, or you're trying to look at like a menu, or you're trying to like, you know, do something that requires you to be around the same spot. If there's like Joules damage and degen on the ground and stuff, and like explodey boxes and all that stuff, you are immune to that. You're immune to the burning ground. You're completely immune to ailments. Is really good for like strong boxes and like just so much stuff. Where's the boss? I'm gonna kill the boss with no stacks. The single target's pretty good, and I have glancing blows too, right, which is OP. So I pop my righteous fire, and look, the boss is frozen and dead. Okay, cool. Let's talk about the important things first. Assassin, I didn't go this because I anointed the elusive. You can do that, or you can take this if you don't want this. This makes the chains a little bit smoother, and once again, I'm not juicing fully my maps, meaning my chains can be a little bit unreliable without this. So I took this instead of this. This is standard stuff. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to try to cut out all the stuff that's in like, you know, every kind of assassin or like cock build, right? So, notes to pay attention to when I was focusing on the later parts of the tree where the points kind of mattered. When you go in POB and you mouse over AoE nodes or connector AoE nodes that have things behind it that's AoE, it'll tell you a node called, it will say +1 AoE, right, radius. And if you get if you don't know how AoE now works in the game, if you don't gain +1 radius by getting the AoE and that was your main focus, then you shouldn't take that node. So for example, taking this is +2 radius, taking this was +1. That's why I took those nodes, if you're wondering about small nodes. So make sure to look for +1 radius. It'll make your map clear and your garden chains a little bit better. So first, we're going to look at the Joules. So I said stun immune. The way that it's stun immune is you can now with the Harvest Craft get 10% stun immune, or sorry, 10% chance to avoid stun as an implicit on the Joules. You can get it on all types of Joules as long as it's not corrupted. So this is a timeless version. This is just a prismatic, or sorry, this is a crimson. You can have it on prismatics, which are Watcher's Eyes and things. You can have it on Cobalt, Viridian, and crimsons, right? So if you look at my Joules, stun, oh sorry, okay, that one actually needs to be fixed. Oh wait, I put in, oh no, I didn't get this one. Oh, okay, I'm only 80% covered, but I'll get that later. I'll get this and this later. But stun right here, stun right here. I showed that stun over here. That's corrupting blood, so I can not be scuffed video. No, corrupting blood over here, so I don't have to worry about the big bleeds, because regular bleeds you're not gonna die from. There's no way. And then yeah, that's stun. Is there anything else over here? Oh, this one right here, 10% chance to avoid being stunned. It's Abyssal Joules will work as well, and that you get from a tier 2 yellow seed. Very, very common. Make sure you use your flowers on that and you'll get like 10 tries each time you hit the tier 2 patch. Okay. Other things, it's shield based because I am currently ES because you can make shields like this this league. And so on the tree, if you just type in like shield, you can like see all the cool little shield nodes, right? Like some will highlight energy shield, but like look at this. This is like pretty crazy for block. Like I have like stuff here. I can even get more spell block here, but if I put on a rummies, you know, things are pretty crazy. Right now, without our rummies, we're at 6452 because of the glancing blows, right? So super powerful node right here. And obviously, if you're ES based, I'm CI, you have a lot of your EHP coming from this. Okay. Besides the Joules, other things to note on this is that on POV, you're going to see this as pain attunement still, but it's inner conviction. So I don't get frenzy charges. I get the power charges to get more damage. And the other thing I got, your options here for the second mod, besides the area damage or the I think it's like elemental damage, you can get either the increased effect of ailments, because I have like a lot of devotion in here, and I love the chills and how they are like a kind of like a temp chains, and then you can get like other flat damage, right? I chose to go with the bigger chills and shocks and things like that. Other important notables on the tree are like this, and yeah, let's talk about the cluster jewel. Okay, cluster jewel is like super important because it adds like probably the biggest things that you'll notice in terms of power. And my build like went to the next level once I added in this cluster. Before, when I was lower level, I didn't have the points, and I didn't feel like crafting like this or other things. So what I did is I put these points into other like powerful nodes in the regular tree, the vanilla tree, and that was the wrong decision. I should have went into the cluster jewels as fast as humanly possible, because this is just like 10% more, and you're always getting this because you have a chilling presence here, so you always get this pen. You know, my resist is actually like capped, and it's perfectly capped for my wise oak, and you can like kind of adjust that with like your regular jewels and stuff, but this is just like a nice one I had on here. And then widespread, because that 10% AoE sometimes is +1 radius. Small jewels, I really like this one. Vast power magnifier are AoE nodes, and once again, this is all about trying to chain your maps and like chain the mob kills together. This one, okay, I started with a base crit Hatred Watchtower, which at the time I bought it was about 9 exalts. This one I spent over 100 exalts on, and it's really the most expensive part of my build. You don't need this though. I was playing until level like 95, 96 with a base 1.8, well, it wasn't 1.8, but it was a base Hatred Crit Watcher's Eye, okay? This one's really crazy because I get the penetration, and I get a flash charge on a cooldown when I crit with precision. Precision is used for the accuracy, but once again, I'm not going to talk about like all the links because that's very basic stuff in like every other video guide, okay? Other questions I get a lot are like, what does devotion give you? So devotion, just like what it does is it changes these little nodes, and if it's a notable, you'll get like +5, right? On some of these, and that like multiplies like the node on the timeless jewel. Thread of Hope is probably bought for 100C for a perfect one, like -10s, so it reduces the least amount of resist possible. And then I got all these because they're very efficient. One thing that you could actually do is if you have like a ring or Elrion ring, or like, I mean, maybe you use double crafted for 1 mana if you don't want to use the inspiration. Okay, this actually I did it wrong, but I won't talk about that. The inspiration, if you take it out for another damage node, right? Probably a green support gem or something. If you take this node right here, it'll actually bring the 1 mana to 0, so you can do cannot regen maps. That's one tiny thing that I was thinking of doing a few days ago, but the inspiration is just pretty cool, so I didn't want to change my ring or anything because I'm lazy. Okay. Other notes about the gear. So I'm going to talk about how it kind of works when you're transitioning from life to low life, right? So the weapon does not affect your life, right? The chest is very easily swappable to a life-based version, even if you're using a regalia, because for the most part, when you look at these items, things that are prefixes, like defense modifiers most commonly, can be easily swapped to life, and vice versa by either remove auging or the life or the ES, right? Depending on which way you want to go. So a lot of the time, what you can do is you can get a really cheap pair of gloves, right? Get your base gloves, make them life versions, or even buy the life versions for really cheap, and then just convert it into ES, because things on this build are so easily tagged, right? Or the base crafting materials are so easy to get that you can kind of craft most of the gear. So out of this, I crafted the shield. Well, let me go in order of what I crafted. First, I crafted the gloves. Then after the gloves, I crafted the helmet. Then after the helmet, I crafted the boots. After the boots, I crafted the shield. After the shield, I crafted the amulet, okay? I think some of my VODs have some of the crafts. It'll kind of show, like, even though I'm kind of peppy, I'm probably like 40 IQ, right? And I was carried by my Twitch chat, and I made a lot of mistakes, but it still is nearly guaranteed. Especially things like gloves, boots, helmet, chest, amulet are guaranteed. You cannot scuff it, because if you... Here's how I'll explain the crafting, right? It's a 50-50 coin flip in the worst scenario. And even if you get that 50-50 coin flip where you scuff a prefix, you can just go back to the beginning for like a few exalts and you can craft it again. It's very, very hard to brick, okay? And it's so funny, like how people look at these items, like, how did you do that, right? It wasn't hard at all to do anything. The only thing I had to kind of jamble and whoop was this shield, because the thing about Shaper, like this is Shaper Hunter, right? if you look at the mods on here, some of the mods aren't actually tagged. So whenever something's not like defense, attack, life, you know, any of the like elemental ones, chows, whatever, you have to get that base first, and that's super annoying, right? Because you have to whoop a long time, or it's gonna be really expensive. But once you get it, right, if you look at the other tags, right, then you can see it's pretty easy. Because like the ES on block is defense, and then the big ones, right, the big +1 that's gonna give you 10% more damage on the shield is just aug remove, aug remove. It's waiting of about 250, I think, so it might take you like 10 of them or something, but super easy. And then the tier 1 defense is like not even that big a deal, because like, you know, who cares, right? All the other things are way more important. The this ES version has, you have to have the reduced mana reservation, because my my ores are here, so that's what makes it kind of like kind of cool, right? You can fit these things in along with a level 20 or 21 precision if you want, right? So that's what you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna do if you want to fit these things in. I don't need to talk about hatred, because that's just your Watcher's Eye. Discipline, don't need to talk about. Herald of Ice is your chaining, and then precision is really cool because it's the crit and the accuracy. So this shield was the only tricky one in trying to whoop a base that I could start to craft on deterministically, right? Because once again, the skill gems, the defenses, and the suffix defense are guaranteed once you have a certain base. Another thing to note is craftofexalt.com is the website you're going to want to look at if you are going to craft this stuff yourself. So other than that, this ring is questionable. I use this a lot for the, obviously it's a little bit of effect for the Herald of Ice, because one thing I think I do a little bit differently is I'm linking my Herald of Ice to a lot of stuff, because if you can get this ring modifier, the reduced mana reservation, is actually makes it cheaper than double damage one, so it's kind of easy to get. And the dex allowed me to drop it allowed me to drop this point, or it allowed me to not get dex suffix on here, so I go for accuracy or something else. And wait, what else? Okay, here we go. And so that's why I chose this. I'm using meteor enchants just for like the casting encounters that show up, but you don't have to use this. You can use another ring with maybe Frostbite, right? And you can go like Whispers of Doom, right? So you get Frostbite, more damage multiplier. You get Assassin's Bark, more damage multiplier. It's kind of crazy what you can do with this build, but this is just like a stable, very stable ring that you can find very easily on the trade site. So obviously this you can't craft. You're gonna buy this, and this one is like pretty trash. This is my League starter ring that I swapped the life into ES, and it's a really bad tier ES here, but I don't want to change it because it's gonna be hard for me to do my Wise Oak. A cool thing about this build is you use a Wise Oak. I normally didn't like to use Wise Oak, but with all the crafts that we have and the targeted divines, meaning that you can change an individual resist on any of your gear except for uniques into anything within that range very easily, I decided to go with the Wise Oak, because not only do I have my penetration, but it's mostly for the defensive, because now I take less damage when from all of the elements, right? And I still do more damage with cold. I have a tiny bit of fire and everything, but you know, that's not that big a deal. So it's like super cool to have a min-max Wise Oak setup, right? Bottled Faith I'm using because okay, so this is actually a funny story. I only use the Bottled Faith because I stream. If I wasn't streaming, I would use Dying Sun and I would change up my Wise Oak setup or whatever. And the reason I use my Bottled Faith on stream is because people always say you have ZDPS, right? They have no idea how many mods you have on the map. They have no idea you have no juice. They have no idea what what boss it is or whatever. That's a Lily. And so they're like, oh, you have ZTPS, you have ZTPS, your damage is really bad. So by wearing the Bottled Faith, you get massive DPS on bosses, especially, so no one can say you have ZDPS, right? Because you're gonna clear all the map perfectly. Whites, yellows, blues are gonna get one shot. The boss, it will make you it'll make you seem like you have a lot more damage, especially if you get the craft for effect. There's a craft that gives you 50% effect. So think about that. 3% base, 15% more damage taken. Obviously not exactly 50% more, because it adds with things like Cinder Swallow and other taken modifiers, but it still is a massive amount of damage. And you know, you get that Sulfur Flask, 60% instead of 40, pretty damn good there. Other things are pretty standard. Cinder Swallow is a mapping flask only. You can use whatever else you need. Flask of warding because I hate the I hate the curses in the map, and a lot of people actually like ask me what they can swap out for this, because maybe you don't care about warding, maybe you like the temp chains on your maps on you all the time if you're using a header, maybe you think you have too much crit, but sometimes, okay, when you're getting hit by certain things in the map modifiers where it's like you get a little bit smoother DPS, you might want that guaranteed crit to get your power charges up faster, you know, little things. So I just use this because I don't have anything else I would want to use in its place, right? And that's about it here. Obviously, like this one, you want to get the crit chance on there. Now, one note about Flask, okay? Let's say I wasn't using Bottled Faith. You can use a Sulfur Flask blue, and what you're going to do is you're going to unveil Cinder Swallows until you get something called Of the Order. You only need to get it one time. I think it's a 5 Glassblower's Bauble craft from your bench. Hi, Lily. And then what that does is on any suffix blue flask, you can put Of the Order. Oh my god, Lily, hi. Mwah. And Of the Order makes it so that you have 50% chance to avoid being stunned, and then you have 12% move speed. One quick note, just globally about the game. Movement speed flasks as a suffix, no matter what they are, do not stack with adrenaline. So I see a lot of people on PoE Ninja and stuff like that, and other people who show me their builds, they use a Cinder Swallow with the movement speed one, right? And you're like, dude, what are you doing? The movement speed, and they're like, I get more movement speed. No, you don't. You can check it in here. The movement speed from the Cinder Swallow does not actually add up with the adrenaline, okay? So use the crit one. So get the Of the Order if you want 50% stun avoidance, because with the CI builds, you're getting stunned all the time. Now, another note about stun, because stun is like very, very scary this week, because Cyclone, they changed it. You can't be stun immune when cycloning anymore. It can still brick you out of the Cyclone. So 50% of the flask plus an easy 90% from the Joules is 140, right? You don't need 140, but you can see where I'm going with this. If you don't have the implicits already, you can build up to that 100 and then drop. I've dropped the Sulfur Flask because eventually I'm gonna be at 90%. You'll be at 90% avoidance. That's good enough for me because all the bosses, they don't hit fast enough to get you out of your Cyclone, or you can, like, you know, spin around them. So that's super important there. I'm gonna put this back on. Okay. Budget versions, I already talked about the life transitions, right? Just removing the prefixes from defense to life or vice versa. And really the budget version, all you're gonna do is you're gonna do double cost boost instead of shield. You're gonna go life-based. Actually, everything else is easy, right? Just defenses to life. Well, you won't do defenses to life because you're gonna go life to defense when you're ready to swap to CI. And oh, ailment immune. Yeah, this build is ailment immune. Okay, 25% here. What else? Where else do I have it? I have 25% here. I have like some other thing on the tree, right? You're 100% ailment immune. It feels really, really good. That means you can't be burned when you open a box. You cannot be shocked when you're on shocking ground. You can't be I said ignited, right? You can't be chilled, you can't be frozen. It's pretty sick. It's actually pretty sick. And some of the time, most of your power comes from Flask, so that being able to save a suffix on Flask is extremely powerful. So that's pretty good there. Other things I will mention. Okay, there's this debate about attack speed, right? So there's like server latency, and people have like mathed out on Reddit and other things like the tick rate of the server mixing with the attack speed. And sometimes when you go over a certain attack speed, you will encounter a situation where you might lose like 20%, 25, 30% of your DPS, right? In the ideal scenario that the servers are actually working and the tick rate's working and your latency is perfect and you know, all this bullshit. Okay, if you have like flasks, you have maybe you have some Joules that have like attack speed on whatever. If you have a headhunter where you're stealing haste, your attack speed goes up to 65, it won't matter, trust me. Okay, like all the stuff, you will not notice. Okay, there is a situation where like you might want to do this and you might do your own reading on this, because dual wield, okay, a lot of people quote these numbers without knowing what dual wield does, where you have to like double it, right? Because you're spinning around hitting with each one. I won't go into that though. Make sure you do the reading yourself. Okay, I'm just gonna say, do the reading yourself and decide what you want to do for the content that you're doing. Okay, I've chosen not to care about that because of the items that I'm using. Okay. Helm enchants. This is, I'm pretty sure, 2 radius, so I like that. 40% is an increase modifier. It's not a more modifier. For example, if you took a node like this, which is like 18% damage, like basically the Helm enchant is like it's like 40% increased damage on the tree. Okay, it's not multiplicative. So you have to think, what content am I doing where I'll benefit? Am I going to benefit more from +2 radius, or a little bit tiny damage when my damage is already extreme and it's being like ramped up by a lot of more modifiers? And it's like, yeah, I want to take the AoE. Okay. Boot enchant, like 10% move speed, I like that a lot. Glove enchant, I'm too lazy to get one. I would want Commandment of Reflection because that's like someone that tanks for you, and it's really, really good. What else is there to talk about? I don't think there's anything else to talk about. This is a skill tree. You can kind of modify it as you want. I'm gonna be changing it up a little bit as I get like different stuff. I'm gonna upgrade some of the gear. I guess I can talk about crafting the Joules. This one, to get this chilling presence and cold connection, you buy a less than level 85 eye level. It has to be a 10% increased effect of non-damaging elements Joule. Make sure that chilling presence is on there, because that's like the tiniest weighting, so you don't want to roll for that. Guarantee that on there. No cold prefix besides chilling presence. Augment chows, that'll give you the chows resist. Augment augment a block a suffix, right? I've chosen life. You can also do lightning, because you can augment lightning again and get a lightning thing like Storm Rider or like the other thing. And then what you're gonna do, okay, once you've blocked the thing, right, you gotta make sure that the suffixes are not lightning, right? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add lightning over and over and over until the thing becomes cold conduction, okay? Because that's a lightning tag, and chilling presence will never be bricked, okay? For me, the first time I did it, it took 5. Second time I did it, it took 3 remove augs, right? Really easy to do there. And yeah, and then these, like I just bought this like a long time ago. Oh, Cinder Swallow, you need 1 point of fire damage, okay, on most mobs. The way that the ignites work is that crits with fire ignite. You're an assassin, you're always critting. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this Joule, something like this, just one roll, it doesn't matter what tier. 1 point of fire damage, or one explicit, I should say, of fire damage will proc your Cinder Swallow for the 10% more damage taken, okay? That's about it. And is that it? That's about it, right? You need Frozen Shell for the Frostbolts because your Ice Stone goes on them. But I'm not going to talk about the mechanics of the build because you can watch other videos for that. I just want to talk about the cool stuff on this build. This amulet is pretty hilarious. Look at the amulets you can craft this league. That's sick. That's pretty hilarious. Oh, accuracy. Okay, I don't know if like other builds talk extremely extensively about accuracy and how to get it. Gloves, amulet, helm. Get it on gloves and the helm first, because for your level you might be okay with what you have. I put this so I can always have 100 and 100. And I even care about accuracy enough to where I am thinking about taking Ralakesh. You cannot be blinded, right? Because that really sucks. So accuracy, if you don't know how it works, you can read up on how cast on crit accuracy plus crit. It's like a less modifier if they're not 100. Okay, so make sure that when you click on this, right? So well, at least make sure the top one is 100, right? I'm gonna make this tier 1. This one's already tier 1, and this one's like tier 2. So once these two are tier 1, I hope that the second number goes like 98, right? But you have to be 100 for the main one, okay? If you're not 100 on the main one, especially when you get like blinded and shit, you might get hit by like 10 mobs at once, and you're gonna get wrecked. So that's really important. Other cool things about the build, I mean, I have like recovery stuff, but that's not really that cool. It's just like blocks a lot. It's really fast. It's fun. It has nice visuals. The main reason I'm playing the build is because of the Celestial Ice Dome. I bought 3 of those. It's really cool. Whale Skills Grace for bosses, right? You'll completely negate some of the attacks and spells, and then like Righteous Fire for some damage boost. Okay, it's kind of scary though to use. Okay, that's the video. If you guys have any questions about that rundown, you can ask me on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Kito_, and hope to see you guys there. Okay, bye guys. Thanks for watching my video. Bye. Bye.